welcome to Urban Legends, the hit internet podcast about urban legends and other such topics. It's the podcast that proves if tragedy plus timing equals comedy, then ignorance plus sarcasm doesn't. I am one of your hosts, Chris Flynn, and with me as always is Mr.
Neil Herbert.
Hi, Neil. Do you like my little intros? They're a bit of fun, aren't they?
Bit of fun, yeah.
Nice putting ourselves down. That's good.
Yeah.
Sets it up.
Well, I think, just being honest with the listener.
So, Neil...
managing their expectations, as we say all the time in the office.
We are doing this podcast now in big news events time because...
Oh, yes.
They have literally just called...
Would Sir Madam like another general election?
We've called...
For once, yes, we fucking will.
Yeah. Well, I'm starving for one.
Oh.
Yes. General election has been called...
I was full of general elections a couple of years back.
Now...
Oh, can't get enough.
Yes, the UK has called a general election. It's going to be, weirdly, on the 4th of July, which I believe is American Independence Day.
Is it 4th of July?
Yep. Going to be on the 4th of July, which is going to be kind of like, in a way, our mini independence from the death grip of Milton Friedman.
So I watched that terrible movie, so that'd be...
What, Independence Day?
Yeah.
Is it terrible? I've seen it like twice.
It's terrible, actually. It's quite good fun. It's probably the best. I can't remember that guy's name, but whoever he specialises in movies, mostly about blowing things up.
Jerry Bruckheimer?
No, it's not Bruckheimer. It's a German Bruckheimer.
Bruckheimer was quite German.
Like he did that one there where everything froze because of climate change.
Oh, Day After Tomorrow.
They have to go and live in a library or something. Yeah. He's like a specialist in disaster movies.
Okay.
He did that, and then he did one about how Shakespeare didn't write Shakespeare.
Did he do one about a volcano in LA? Was that him as well?
Probably, yeah.
Called Eruption or something.
I think he had two of them, wasn't it? But yeah, I don't know if he did either of those. I can't remember.
So, yes.
Turns out he know two of his movies.
So, 4th of July, it was very funny, the speech which our meme Prime Minister...
So I've not seen this, but you would just let me know a little bit, Chris.
So I watched as much as I could handle because I can't really stand him. But he was out in front of number 10 with his lectern.
Which podium did they represent? Because they've had a few, haven't they? Over the
I would
years.
imagine the smallest one, Neil.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's got to look over it, hasn't he?
The one from the Early Learning Centre.
Yeah.
No, he's a short king. I shouldn't. Mind.
No, you shouldn't.
Because I was thinking earlier about he's actually of the Tory premiers over the last 14 years. He's the best, and I was thinking I could say something about him being the tallest dwarf, and I thought actually no, that'd be
inappropriate. So I didn't say that live.
Didn't say it. No,
yeah,
no. I mean, I'm just saying that I think of it. I think of these things, then I decide. Do you know what? Like that, you probably shouldn't say something like that to a short king.
No.
Come on, like. With all the money he's got, he could get built-up legs, couldn't he?
Yeah, he gets cybernetic implants from his friend Elon Musk.
I reckon his wife hits him. But anyway, he was out front, behind the Fisher-Price lectern.
Yeah,
and
behind a matchbox
with his Gap Kid suit on, and basically it was pissing down with rain, so just getting really wet. Because it's like, it's really wet here. So, and some jokester who had obviously heard this was going to happen, and you'd reckon they probably had they parked a car nearby with really powerful.
I think they've gone up somewhere nearby, either on the river or the because you can't get into Downing Street.
No, you can't. But it's not very big.
Yeah.
So over the top of him doing his speech, sort of very loud, was the song "Things Can Only Get Better" by Dee Ream, which was the
1997
of the 1997 Labour landslide. It's not a great song, but it was quite.
It's all right. It was sort of catchy.
So imagine that will be doing the rounds on the internet now for our meme chief.
Oh no, they were going to use it in Stranger Things final season. They'll have to reconsider now.
Well, I think something get better.
Yeah. Well, I assume they defeat the evil at the end or something. I don't know.
Hipster Professor Brian Cox was famously in Dee Ream.
He was the keyboardist, yeah.
Yeah, before he went, fuck this, I'm going to do physics. Space, it's massive.
Fucking huge. Not just like huge, like fucking huge, seriously.
Think of the biggest room that you've ever been in. It's even bigger than that.
25 times bigger. The Whispering Northerner.
Or even more.
Yeah. I know we're fans of Brian Cox. I think
I'm easy.
You're ambivalent. Okay, no,
I felt that when the Brian Cox style BBC documentary started coming out, it was a sign that it was going a bit lowest common denominator. You know, stars. There's loads of them.
No, mate. No, I mean, to be fair,
aren't black holes dark?
Like coming out of that. Tell it to Bernard Manning.
No, I think it brought it to a wider audience, probably, and it wasn't aimed at me. But I was like, oh, I like the really boring ones, which are really complicated.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's kind of led to a lot more interest in sort of astrophysics and stuff. So that's
Has it though?
Because on a very shallow surface.
Because I ain't seeing that on the streets. Talking about the streets, Neil. I know why this has been called now. The election's been called now because, as you know, I'm a Westminster ITK.
Yeah,
which is short for in the know.
Absolutely.
And I do my other podcast, which we don't mention on here, called Grimy Politics.
Yeah.
Which is politics but aimed at fans of UK grime rap music.
Yeah. Obviously.
Where I explain stuff using sort of the grime vernacular. It's very problematic. The whole podcast.
Oh yeah, no, it's massively offensive.
It is. But I heard Richie Sunak was actually offered a job because he did that interview with Elon Musk where it was really, really demoralizing for us as a nation that our prime minister was basically sucking up to Elon Musk as if he was like the more powerful man in the room.
His next job.
Yeah, so he got offered a job by him. He's been offered a job as vice president of the Boring Company. You know that one.
It's the one where he's going to do like public transport under the earth.
Not sure it was doing anymore, but presumably he's pumping the stocks or something.
The Boring Company, because that's a That could mean, boring as in not very interesting. That's not likely, though.
It could, right? I think that...
Oh, it must be boring as in drilling underground.
It's like with...
You've done it again, Mr. Musk.
It's like with films that you kind of feel like they came up with the title and then back wrote the film.
Yeah.
There was a Wayans brother film, a little known one, and... I can't remember. Is it Damon Wayans who does like the My Wife and Kids or something?
I was going to say, I don't know. Was this White Chicks or was it the one where one of them plays like a?
No, it was the older Wayans brother who. Who does because there's the two that do the comedy stuff like Southampton. If you don't.
Yeah, and there's one who was in I think in Living Colour or something quite a few years back.
Yeah,
with like Jim Carrey and stuff.
But it was like quite a low budget sort of action movie.
Okay.
And it was called Low Down Dirty Shame, right? And because it was called that, then the character's name was Shame. It was like Shane Johnson or something. And you kind of think, fuck me. And so and it was like literally, it could have been written by an AI. It was just like normal thing. And there's like the scene where he's like a bit scruffy and that, and then he realizes he's got to take care of business. So he like puts on a suit, shaves his head, like gets all looking cool again and all of that. It was quite, I don't know. It was watchable. I think I had it on VHS. I think I bought it for about £1.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a go. It sounds ridiculous enough. Like I really fancy watching, what's your man's name? He does all the Irish dancing and that. Michael Flanagan. Or Flanagan, yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Don't know.
But he's done I think, to be fair, I think he's dying of cancer or something, which is the reason why. But so he decided to film a self-funded vanity project where he basically plays James Bond. I really want to see it. And apparently it's as ridiculous as you'd think. It's all like, everyone wants to...
Is it lots of high kicking like Roadhouse?
Yeah, well, I can imagine it's lots of sort of sped up camera angles, odd camera angles and sped up footage and stuff like that. But
a Seagal.
One would hope. Well, Seagal's has just gotten to the point now where, he just teleports from place to place.
Yeah, he's a person of interest. Yeah. It's just people with like, like the rubber, Reagan masks, which they have in like dead presidents. It's like just some like It's like Terry Crews wearing one of them, or Steven Seagal walking.
Oh yeah, I mean, he might as well be his own kind of like terror mask. But I think my favourite review of one of his later movies on the AV Club.
Weirdly, the rubber mask looks more realistic than his face.
Than his actual face, yeah, and that weird dark hair that he's got. Yeah, I'm sure that's not dyed. Or painted on top of your head. But no, this is this film review of him basically because it also insists on having the action scenes and the kind of like love scenes. And one of them apparently looked like he was being lowered like a drawbridge on a young lady. Oh my God, such a vivid image and such a horrible one. But
I've been concentrating on the pork chops, not the karate chops.
Never mind.
But yeah, so I've heard that anyway, Sunak's been offered that job, and the start date's in September for tax reasons, so he wants to have a bit of a holiday as well. So that's why he's calling it now. Yeah. No, I mean, but so it's a weird time for it to call it because the country's doing shit and they're doing shit in the polls. But I mean, I think they're just assuming it could get worse. Now, do they? Yeah.
Well, you did kind of wonder, are they just going to eke it out until January to see that, just to see if anything happens?
So the theory around that being that so there are a couple of theories, right? One being that that's what the Conservatives did in '97, and just the fact they were hanging on just meant they lost even more seats.
You get even worse.
Just losing more and more.
And he's probably getting pressured. To be fair, I think a lot of the colleagues who want to carry on in Parliament are probably like, just fucking call it. We all know what's going to happen.
But I think the other theory is that date is midway through the Euros, when England will still be in it and probably have beaten the smaller teams in the group.
It'll be a bit warmer. If there's only going to be any kind of vague feel-good factor, then it's going to be probably not a chance of winning it, but less chance of getting wiped out.
Yeah. Really? So I think he's kind of pinning his hopes on England doing really well. But just
that's never worked out badly for anyone before,
especially England fans.
Yeah.
But just like, I mean, I'm just looking at the record, and just one stands out to me, Neil. I'd like to bring up when they came into power, the Tories. The UK as a whole had only 35 food banks, and now we've got 2,500, which is double the amount that we have of McDonald's. Do you know? So I think
that's pretty good, isn't it?
That's good. Like, where were people getting their food before?
That kind of growth.
People must have been starving. So I really, I'm really looking forward to it because I think just him actually announcing it probably improves my job prospects quite a lot.
I just look at it as well.
At least it's happening now.
Some pictures of him, and he's soaked in the sea. Did someone not think to put an umbrella over him or something? Or did everyone think that was a bit too Steve McLaren?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, he clearly he's so disconnected from football that he doesn't even know about the Wally and the Brolly, which the Steve McLaren thing. Yeah, he didn't bother even. I don't know. Maybe he was
put like a little. I don't know. Like what do they call him? One of those.
Dear God, Neil, it's like a Prime Minister's wet T-shirt contest was.
Well, yeah, I was going to say. I'm going to see some neck.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah, it's just like he's like a sexy Prime Minister out in the rain.
He's trying to bring sexy back. Yeah. All day, all of
a sudden that goes from things going to get better to like Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah. I'd vote for him.
Yeah, not going to lie. I'm doing a 180. 5 more years.
He whips off the trousers. They break off trousers, and he's just got like a red codpiece on,
with Margaret Thatcher,
with
the face of Thatcher on it. Yeah,
that'd be good.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah. And it turns out that actually underneath he's really ripped like a human fly. Yeah. They're always really muscly, the human fly men. He's like one of them. And then he climbs up Big Ben.
Yeah, and then the suplexes The Rock.
Perfect.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Lovely. We have offered our services to Conservative. I mean, we're open to the highest bidder, really. I mean, I won't vote for you, but I'll happily work for you.
No, absolutely.
Do you want to make a real splash in the modern internet world, like our hit internet podcast has?
Absolutely.
Then why not? So so that's cheered me up. The fact that
let's face it, put them out of their misery, and we all just need to move on. The country's in
the worst state it's been since I've been alive, and this government is the worst. And I think there's a decade's worth of work to undo the damage they've done, at least. But if they're not here, they're not making it even worse. I mean, they must have like, there'll be Tory backbenchers going, look, why are you calling it now? We still haven't chopped down all the trees and turned them into money because we've drained the rest of it. There's nothing left, but, there's still some trees we could fell. Get rid of them. Sell
some
them.
Dodgy policies. We could still, yeah.
Yeah, there's probably some value there. We could, there's probably some poor people with fillings we could take, something like that. Have we dug through all the graves to get all the grave goods yet of the people who died from COVID? Because if not, then we'll leave your money on the table, basically.
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll give it to Boris.
He'll need a loan, won't he?
Oh, of course he will.
Fucking
rinses through money, that fat cunt. Right, Neil. So, talking of fat cunts, what we looking at today?
Absolutely, some little ones. So
some little fat cunts, right?
So we today's podcast was about redcaps, Chris.
Redcaps, like the mushrooms.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
there are mushrooms called redcaps. You're not meant to eat them. They make you hallucinate. Well, I mean,
are they quite deadly poisonous? Aren't they, redcap mushrooms?
I'm not sure. Are redcaps the same as fly agaric?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Neil, what I'd suggest then is just don't go eating wild mushrooms.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're picking, don't go a licking.
You've got that tattoo. You've got that tattooed on you in a forum, haven't you, to remind you? Exactly.
Doesn't stop me, but
No, but you did get it done in Latin. Stupid.
Well, fucking yeah.
It's like you've got all of the things that you're allergic to written on the inside of your right arm, but it's all in Japanese, so you don't know.
Yeah, it's all in like really poorly put together kanji. I can't read that. I don't know what's going on.
I'll just eat it and see what happens.
Yeah,
keep my EpiPen nearby.
That's what I like to call Plan B.
Lovely. So redcaps, what are they?
Redcap. Yeah. So. A few different articles here. We'll start with the wiki.
What are they, Neil? What are they?
Just call your jets. Right?
Oh, sorry, I'm excited. I'm all hot and bothered because
in no way, shape, or form.
I've got election fever.
Am I holding back because there's about 3 paragraphs of information I need to get through and a little more. So, but no, the redcap or powrie.
What?
The redcap or powrie, as we might say. Yeah, I'm guessing it's sort of Gaelic, is a type of malevolent, murderous goblin found in border folklore. I don't know why that's so difficult to... So it looks like they're mostly on the sort of Scottish border.
Oh, okay.
Although, as we'll discover in a minute, there's a movie that came out that sets them in Ireland. So
okay, well, Celtic, in it, a lot of cross-pollination.
Well, exactly, yeah. Maybe they go as far afield as like France and stuff.
Maybe. Maybe they go to Galicia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Celts were all over Europe once upon a time. He is said to inhabit ruined castles along the Anglo Scottish border, especially those that were scenes of tyranny or wicked deeds, and is known for soaking his cap in the blood of his victims, hence redcaps.
Okay.
He's also known as Red Comb and Bloody Cap. Oh, Bloody Cap.
So in Galicia, there's a similar thing called the duende.
Okay.
That's me finished. I'm not giving you any more information.
That's fine. Okay, well,
in case we can do a whole
start with the
episode
wiki, which is the dry one. Then I'm going to go to there's a folklore Scotland.
So they destroy they destroy castles?
No, not exactly. I don't think so. No, I think they just inhabit the ruined castles. I think if bad things happen,
they're in the ruins.
They hang around somewhere where like bad stuff's happening. They sort of they're like drama queens. They get off on kind of like bad shit happening, basically.
Oh, I see, like that. Yeah. Oh my, OMG.
Yeah.
Oh, like I've
had believe what?
Oh, OMG! I've had such a bad day. Oh, are you right, babes? Like people who do that kind of stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, so my I've not mentioned this because I was too sad to, but a month back, one of my 2 cats passed away really suddenly at the age of 12, and I was quite heartbroken. And so I did say it on Facebook. Well, I said he was going into the vets as an emergency vet thing, and I said that on Facebook. And then I just added the comment like afterwards he didn't make it.
Yeah.
And my mum was like, "Oh, maybe you should like do some pictures and like do a little thing for her on Facebook." And I was like, I mean, he didn't care about Facebook. Do you know what I mean? And the people on Facebook, to be honest, they don't really care. So
it's Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'd like to dedicate this entire podcast and the rest of my life to the memory of my cat Pac-Man, who was my best little mate.
There you go.
There you go. And you, Neil, would you also like to do that?
I concur. Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Thank you. Sorry, Lance Reddick in second place now.
Well, we had one dedicated to Lance Reddick and then one dedicated to Pac-Man, so that seems reasonable.
I'm trying to learn to do an impression of Lance Reddick, and I'm not sure if I should.
I don't think you've got the gravitas, the height, the muscle, or the...
I've got that. I'm taller than him.
Acting ability.
Because he talked kind of like, he had a very
distinct way of talking. Yeah,
if I've watched
a good kind of authoritarian, not authoritarian, but it just kind of gravitas. He just kind
it was quite staccated the way that he would speak. There's one of the things which he did clearly just for money. There's like a documentary on Amazon, like America's Greatest Secrets with Lance Reddick. Where he's just reading it, and if I watch a few episodes of that, I can kind of get into the accent. But I'm kind of not really sure why I'm doing it. Really, it's kind of I think it's because it's the sincerest form of flattery, really, and I like him. But
a very good actor who didn't have enough good parts. I think he did manage to get in one of those John Wick movies.
Yeah, I know, but people remember him from that. But that was like a really minor role. He was in so much more stuff. But
I mean, the problem is I think because obviously he was amazing in The Wire. There's so many great actors in that, but he was a real standout. But then the other stuff, like he was in Lost for a bit, he was really good in that, but it was such a minor part. And there was, so I can't think of things outside of The Wire where he's like, was given a role.
He's really good in a comedy thing called Corporate, where he shows his comedy chops, which are really good.
Yeah.
Well, he did loads of voice stuff on like American Dad and those kind of things.
Yeah, as well. No, I don't know. For some reason, I kind of don't count voice work, so I don't know why.
I reckon it was a laugh.
I think he'd been a good.
Do you know what? It's kind of like I wouldn't mind having a pint with.
Yeah. What more could you ask?
Pint of white. Callback.
Right. Anyway. Redcaps.
Yes.
They're depicted as a short, thick-set old elf with long, prominent teeth, skinny fingers, armed with talons like eagles, large eyes of a fiery red colour. Are you getting excited now, Chris?
Talons like eagles? What, for hands?
Yeah. Well, he's got like really long nails. They could like scratch at you.
Not much of a writer.
Large eyes of a fiery red colour, grizzly hair streaming down his shoulders, iron boots.
Iron boots?
Yeah. A cake staff in his left hand.
Fucking hell, this guy's coming in.
On his head.
He's coming in tooled up.
Coming in pretty hot.
Well, he's not what I think of when I think of a traditional kind of goblin.
No, they don't normally come armed.
No, iron boots.
Yeah, he's ready to take care of some business.
He sounds like a football hooligan from the early 80s.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's where it stems from.
Give him a shoe-in.
When travellers take refuge in his lair, he flings huge stones at them, and if it kills them, he soaks his cap in their blood, giving it a crimson hue.
And he's strong as well.
Well,
he's small.
Unaffected by human strength.
What?
Doesn't matter how strong you are. You'd be like, I can press 580, mate, or whatever the people say.
What's that?
No, don't know.
Grams?
Yeah, it's milligrams. Yeah, micrograms possibly. But could be driven away by words of scripture or the brandishing of a crucifix, which cause him to utter a dismal yell and vanish in flames, leaving behind a large tooth.
So, right, what I'm going to say now is I don't believe that it can be driven away by those. I think that Christians have put it in as a selling point.
Selling point.
Selling point for Christians. It's called, in the car industry, it's called a VAP, which is a value-added product. And that's what they're doing there.
That's the upsell.
They're doing the upsell. But I mean, like, if he's human strength can't do anything to him, so does that mean you can be hit as hard as like a human can, and they just be like, whatever. Got like a steel chin.
I was going to say that appears to have come from an Encyclopedia of Fairies by Catherine Briggs. Unfortunately, I have not sourced a copy yet.
Have you not?
So I've not read that. But
it's not turned up yet, no.
I don't know. Sadly, I ordered it from the library, but
well, thanks, Tories.
Yeah,
can't even get an encyclopedia
about the fairy folk
these days from the library, all shut.
The tale of a Redcap in Perthshire depicts him as more of a benign little man living in a room high up in Grand Tully Castle. He bestows good fortune on those who see or hear him. I mean, that just sounds like... So these are variants. So Perthshire one's nice.
No, is it? The Perthshire one's nice.
The Perthshire, yeah. Okay. So on the border, a bit of a nasty fella. Perthshire, and then we've got the Kabuta mannequins, or Redcaps of Dutch folklore. Kabuta mannequins are also very different and more akin to brownies, which are
brownies, the girl guy,
hobgoblins, mischievous rather than evil.
I kind of like the one in Persia. I'm kind of thinking of maybe like a Norman Wisdom character.
Could be, yeah.
Living in a car, like living in a ruin, like bestowing good luck. I don't know how we do that.
It doesn't say there's a lot of unamusing slapstick, but
no. Well, I know, but
not to my taste.
It's implied. It's implied.
Yeah. Mr.
Grimsdale. One for our British audience there, and
Albanian
audience. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was, I think he retired in Albania or something, but he was very, very
well. That was the last place he was heard of.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can necessarily say retired now. Let's just say there are some Orthodox churches which claim to have parts of saints, like toe bones and stuff, which you can go to get a bit of luck if you're having a bad time.
Fun facts about him: I'm sure there's somewhere. Although he lived in a tax haven, he still continued to pay tax.
Yeah, well,
he felt he was his J. So good for him.
Good for him. What tax haven was he living in? Albania.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was in Europe or. I feel like he might have been in Jersey or something.
He was living on the Isle of Man.
I think he did visit Albania, but I don't think he lived there. I think he visited because he was very popular and he do like.
Well, the good thing about slapstick humour is you don't need to know the language, which is why Mr. Bean did well all over the world. It's why Benny Hill was massive, like all over the world. Not as popular in England as he was in a lot of the world, but.
No, well, that is the thing. It's kind of like, I think we've probably found out.
If it's just visual humour, then it's.
I mean, he was probably very. Oh, well, this is the thing as well. I think because he was. Because I think this was under the Iron Curtain. There was only so much they could see from Western actors because it's slapstick.
And they got that.
You get banned by an authoritarian regime and also they probably were like, well, look, aren't the English stupid?
Well, they liked so from what I understand, they liked him because he represented the little guy.
Against the authority figure.
Against the authority figure, and he always kind of got the girl or came out on top. So, and that was unusual to see stuff like that under the Iron Curtain.
And do you know what? At the end of the day, I've never actually seen any of his stuff, so who knows? Yeah.
Oh, you must have when you were a kid. They were on repeat on TV.
Just like clips and stuff. It's not like I can't imagine. Like my parents would have just been like, "I'll turn that over and watching something." Do you know what I mean? They know they're going to sit there and sit through a whole.
I think I've seen a few of them, but
yeah. Oh no, I've never actually sat through a whole one. But hey, trends change. He seemed like a nice chap. I don't know why I'm suddenly becoming a apologist for Norman Wisdom, but yeah. What else? I don't know how
it starts. That's how the radicalisation starts. Still,
you start getting tattoos of Mr. Grimsdale.
Next day, you'll be on the Chans.
Yeah. Right.
Good talking about the great.
Don't say any trash about wisdom.
And I don't want a 15-minute city, and they're trying to replace us. I'm voting reform.
Yeah.
Who are you going to vote for in the new election, Neil? Is it the Norman Wisdom's Party Reform?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm going to keep my powder dry. We'll see.
Reform, which is hilariously, it's not even a political party. It's a company, and it's owned by one person. Mark Francois or whatever it is. I can't remember who owns
Richard Tice, isn't it? Or Tice,
Tice. Yeah, Tice.
Yeah, Francois is technically a Tory MP.
Tice owns it. So it doesn't actually have to follow the rules of political parties because it's a company. Fucking hell.
It's all pretty loosely enforced anyway, isn't it? It's not like, parliamentary standards. You can see what goes on with GB News. Anyway, right. So the ruin of Blackett Tower, a border fortress that was owned by the Bell family in the parish of Kirkpatrick Fleming in Dumfriesshire.
Oh, I wonder if they're the people who make the Alcoholic's Choice Bell's whiskey.
I don't know. It didn't say.
It's one up from Tesco's own brand.
Haunted by a more traditional ghost known as Old Redcap or Bloody Bell. A description of the tower and ghost was given by William Scott Irving in the poem Fair Helen, to which the ghastly phantom holds a bloody dagger beneath a red eastern moon. Did you see any of the Northern Borealis?
No, we went. We actually went out. Like, it's quite funny. So, for those, I'm not sure, like, if people outside the UK had the same thing, but because there was a big solar storm.
Yeah, it came much further south than normal.
Yeah, the auroras came much further south, and you could see them pretty much all over the UK, or you were meant to. Because on the second night, when they were meant to be happening, we went out into the Downs where it's dark to see if we could see it, right? But every other cunt had the same idea. So it was like a fucking music festival on the Downs. Because as you can imagine, people in Brighton, woo!
Oh, yeah, I love that.
They love a bit of the aurora. So it was like the most busy I've ever seen it. And it was kind of at like 1 a.m, but didn't see a thing, no.
No, because I remember last time when I was looking for that when there was like a red supermoon or whatever. And the problem is the light visibility or we can't see anything in town. Can't see anything in tech. I'm too central. So I just wanted, because I thought I saw some photos from Brighton. I didn't.
Yeah, I think that was out there. Yeah, some people put them on Facebook and stuff, and I think there were people out in Hangleton and like Marloke and stuff where it's a bit darker. Yeah, they came down from. But I've got a really bad track record with the auroras because I went.
You actually went up to Norway, didn't you?
I went to Tromsø in the Arctic Circle, and there's a website you could see solar activity, and it was really, really, really high, like constantly high. And on the day I got there, it dropped to nothing, and I was there for 5 days, and it was nothing. And when I left, then it went really high again. So I don't know whether it's something. I don't know if I'm just speculating, but maybe I'm some sort of star being and I'm able to physically repel solar rays. I mean, that's the only explanation, Neil. That's the only explanation. Correlation is causation.
I know you're in talks to be part of Phase 6 of the Marvel movie series, aren't you?
So I am. I'm going to be called.
We're allowed to talk about that.
I'm going to be called Dr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
British occultist and Starman.
Because they have what was it called, Captain Britain or something?
Captain Britain, yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to play him, though.
No. It seems a bit naff.
Yes, it was shit.
Oh, and I was surprised at how well the whole Captain America thing worked, actually, because kind of for various reasons, it just all seems a bit jingoistic. But it was quite well put together.
I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of films that come out of Hollywood are quite jingoistic.
Oh, yeah. Well, any country, to be fairness.
Yeah, any country.
It was. Anyway, right.
Not so much about the self-criticalness because it doesn't play well.
It don't. Yeah, it don't sell. I'll leave that for your shitty little indie movies.
you ain't gonna gross $500 million at the box office by holding a mirror up to society, son.
Yeah. You want to get the big stars in?
Do one about a Norse god.
Going to make people feel better about themselves.
Who loves America?
Yeah, they probably would. To be fair,
what?
Yeah.
I think so, mate. Nah, he'd be.
Where would he be hanging out then?
Inverness.
You'd probably be in a death metal band or something in Norway.
He'd be in a death metal band in Inverness.
Yeah, with the Redcaps.
They'd be called the Redcaps, the Rocking Redcaps.
Yeah.
Be like that. We want Cookie Monster bands.
In
Inverness was the Loch Ness Monster. You are a mess.
Divides in blood. Divides in your blood.
Thank you, Inverness.
Yeah.
How do you think it went, though? Well, it wasn't bad, but, I was hoping more people would turn up. Well, you didn't advertise it. I know, but I put it on my MySpace.
That's fucking promoter's job. Why has it all bands got to do the fucking promotion?
What are the promoters fucking doing apart from taking a cut? Oh, this is disgusting. Do you know what? I might take my dad's offer and go and work at the local Happy Chef.
Yeah.
Because this is going fucking nowhere.
The term redcap is also used in a more general sense. For example, the village of Zenor in Cornwall, fairies are often referred to as redcaps, including the more benevolent trooping fairies. We're just really going down all sorts of nonsense here. Because their fondness for wearing green clothing and scarlet caps. Don't care. Some poem by an Irish poet.
Romantic poetry. What's that all about?
We folk, good folk, trooping all together, green jacket, red cap, and white owl's feather.
We go put all together.
Yeah, that works better actually. Right, and we'll come on to the Robin Redcap and William de Soulis later on because he's in the other article. Yeah, so that's so far so boring. So let's go through to slightly less dry articles. So this is from Folklore Scotland.
Nice.
The fearsome redcaps of the Scottish borders.
The fearsome redcaps of the Scottish borders.
Yeah, see, redcaps live in the ruined and abandoned castles and forts in the borders, especially ones where battles and particular grisly events happened. Apologies to all of our Scottish listeners.
Can I have that in English now? Because
you see,
that was incomprehensible.
I don't know what that was. You see, redcaps live in the ruined and abandoned castles and forts in the borders, especially ones where battles and particularly grisly events happened. Was that equally incomprehensible?
Yes.
Well, that's actually not good. So this is by Kieran of Generally Spooky. I'll just point out
Kieran of Clan Generally Spooky.
They have their own podcast called the Generally Spooky Podcast.
Nice.
And this is part of an episode titled The Bloodthirsty, where they discuss the Robin Redcap story. So,
is it better than this podcast?
Oh, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so.
Anyway, I thought I'd give them a plug because
absolutely, go and give them a listen.
You never know, so give them a listen.
If you find this,
come back to us. It is much better than this one.
If you find this episode incomprehensible and you're annoyed with the politics talk and all of this kind of stuff and all the bollocks, really, then I switch off. If you're actually here to learn about it,
some of these actually probably look like they're trying to make a bit of an effort. Yeah,
go and give that a listen.
Yeah,
if you understand that that's basically just something we hang the podcast off, then stick around.
Feel free to stick around. Right, I assume anyone who's left is then in the latter. So
no refunds.
Back on with crack. Yeah,
it does say that on the door.
Yeah, I mean, you could have back the 0 pence you've invested in this. I mean, you've invested minutes and hours of your precious life, which is the real cost.
I mean, don't bother saying. I mean, we've had this before. I mean, we've had this before, which is kind of the downside of sending out the email, letting people know the email addresses. We've actually had people send invoices saying, this is how much my time is worth per hour, and this is how long I spent listening to this, so can you reimburse me? And unfortunately, like a few times, it's ended up in the small claims court.
Yeah, and psychologically, it's felt like 10 times longer. So we've had to reimburse.
Yeah, when they start adding in the damages and
the psychic tolls,
they're adding,
it really
adding
adds
a lot of zeros.
Oh, do add up. Fortunately, we're so rich we can afford to see that off.
When you say that, you mean that we're bankrupt.
Yeah,
many times over.
Yeah. A part of the unseelie court, redcaps are fearsome creatures who most certainly wish harm upon humans. I'm almost glad I live in the Highlands because I'll have a pretty slim chance of running into one.
Oh, nice.
I mean, pretty slim chance of running into a fictional creature anywhere, to be honest with you. But no, fair enough. He's doing it. See again. Can't go one sentence without having to be sarcastic. You see, redcaps live in the ruined and abandoned castles and forts on the borders, especially where grisly events happened.
Yeah, where there was all those fights over, with Robert the Bruce.
And,
De Bruce.
He's involved with
Walter Wallace.
Walter Wallace.
He was on.
William Wallace.
Are there any other Scottish heroes?
No, there were just two.
Baby Prince, Charlie.
Little Bonnie, Charlie Boy,
Chasler, the baby Chaz. I think
would have been Chaz 3, but we we've got some Dutch guy to come in and scare him off for some reason.
Steve Connolly, he's one of them, and they played James Bond. I think that's it. I think
the big Yin.
Which is the Yeti.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I think that's all the Scottish people.
That's all of them. Yeah. Right. they hide in wait for travellers or people visiting the ruins. When they come across lonely people, they throw stones and murder them.
Well, that's not nice. I mean, it's kind of piling it on there. I'm already lonely.
Yeah, well, might as well kill you then. So, and then they take off their cap, soak it in their blood, and that's what gives it its red colour.
I mean, it would go off. I mean, like, blood doesn't dry red.
Well, here's the thing. In some of the legends,
they use an anticoagulant.
Has to kill regularly to keep his cap soaked in blood.
Okay.
If the cap dries up, then the red cap will die. So it's just a survival mechanism.
Well, then I'm
weird ecological little niche.
Kind of on their side, and if they're killing lonely people, then they're not affecting families and
not being funny. I'd love
friendship groups.
Yeah,
well, you live on your own, so no use to me.
Right. Now, if you're going to try and see a red cap, not something I'd advise,
you'll
need to know what it looks like. William Hemsworth, a folklorist, writing in the 1800s.
I reckon you'd probably... I don't think you'd know. I don't think you need the detailed description. I think you'd know when you saw one.
And it just repeats what it said on the...
Claws.
Rather, Wiki probably got it from this.
Staff.
Thick set old elf, long prominent teeth, talons like eagles, fiery coloured eyes, pike staff, iron boots, red cap on his head. Not someone you'd look at for long without feeling extremely uncomfortable.
Speak for yourself, darling.
Yeah. I don't know. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I don't mind. Do you know how to use that pike staff?
Find a home for that pike staff. Right. Best story we know about Redcap is the story of Robin Redcap.
Why does it always descend to that?
It just, it's pathetic, isn't it? But there you go. Because we're extremely mature. It's about the story of Robin Redcap and William de Soulis. So William de Soulis is a genuine guy. I think he betrayed Robert the Bruce or something like that. So actually ended up dying in a castle. And I assume that this was kind of like written into folklore as like a fuck you to a guy who betrayed the Bruce. Although didn't Robert the Bruce betray William Wallace? So swings and roundabouts. Although the spiders liked him, so
the spiders.
They didn't care. I may have this wrong. I may have it confused with another thing. I'm sure there is a story. So Robert the Bruce went and hid in a cave to escape from the English. And some spiders came over and did a web across this sort of entrance, like quite quickly. And then as people were passing by, it's like, well, he can't be in that cave because there's a web over it. So clearly nobody's come past.
Right.
I'm sure that's the story I read somewhere. I'll probably find out it was, someone else. Oh, obviously, it's kind of.
I think that was Jesus, wasn't it?
Probably. I don't know.
The king of the Jesus Christ, king of spiders.
That's in my head from somewhere. But
it sounds great.
It's not,
Did he then form a spider army and try and take back his lads?
Yeah, no. Bruce's cave. It's the King's Cave. This is one of a natural cave. He hid there. It's claimed he hid there dejected. No, he almost certainly didn't. It was a lot of rich Scots fella. Legend tells us that while waiting out the winter of 1306, he watched a spider on the cave wall. Oh no, this is slightly different. So on the cave wall, tried time and again to spin its web. Every time the spider fell, it rose to begin again. And then he took inspiration and resolved to continue his campaign against the English, ending in their victory at Bannockburn.
I mean...
Okay, so it was more about he learned... It was like one of those positivity posters.
Yeah, it's like hanging there.
You know what? If that little spider can climb up that web time and again...
I can carry on.
I can carry on. So
I mean, like...
So I think I've mixed up two different...
I don't want to kind of disparage him, but he seems like quite a simple-minded lad, doesn't he? If he's making his decisions on spiders...
Yeah, and it's not exactly Henry V's speech in Band of Brothers and all that. Having said that, all of these things are made up after the event, aren't they?
Robert, wake it back. I saw a spider and it wouldn't give up its web.
He starts crying. We lost on spider. Keep going on that web. The wheel, Lord.
The hardest thing I ever had to do was eat them.
Yeah. Let's get eaten on a spider, not protein. Anyway, and again, with apologies to our Scottish friends. Right, William de Soulis. So he was a very powerful lord who ruled from Hermitage Castle, south of Selkirk and really close to the border. He was a very cruel landlord. His tenants hated him.
Aren't they all, Neil?
Oh.
Aren't they fucking all? I know mine is. Some Tory cunt who lives in Bath keeps putting up by 100 quid a month every time he gets a chance. Windows don't even open. Brilliant.
Worse than that, he was lured into practicing the black arts. You might want to check out there's no Redcaps living with you, Chris.
I'm looking around. I've seen no sign of them.
No. That cackling noise I keep hearing in the background?
Well, I'm quite lonely, so you would think that I'd be prime rib.
Prime juice, yeah.
Prime dipping sauce for their caps. But hey. Oh, yeah, Neil, I've got news, which I didn't tell you before we started.
Okay, yeah.
I had my blood test done again. I think I mentioned this on the podcast. I had my blood test like 6 months ago. I had it done 7 months ago, and I had quite high cholesterol, 6.3 or something. And I've been on like diet and stuff and doing exercise.
6.2 now.
5.1 nil. I'm in the
Very
green
good. Well
zone.
done. Very good. Well done.
In the green zone. So maybe that's why, because my blood isn't quite as delicious now. Because it used to be like my delicious red ranch dressing.
Yeah.
But now it's just iron. So
yeah, they're waiting for you to sort of like
get back on
go to a spiral again and
get back on a Fray Bentos.
Get it juicy.
3 times a day.
Nothing wrong with a Fray Bentos
for breakfast.
Yeah. Do they do a breakfast pie? I can imagine it.
I think
like sausage and bacon.
Come on, we're English. Steak and kidney pie is breakfast pie.
Yeah, that's true. I do like a steak kidney pie. Right.
Yeah. Have a minced beef on for lunch and chicken and mushroom for dinner. Beautiful.
385 a day.
Well, chicken's a type of vegetable.
It's well, close enough. White sauce.
There's onions in the minced beef one.
Exactly. So he was a terror to the community. He would steal children from the local farmers to use in his sacrificial rituals, not caring about the hurt he was creating. He'd go out of his way to cause harm.
Oh, it's like Johnny Depp.
And he kept putting the rent up. Well, yeah. I bet they put him in cool, moody adverts as well, where he's playing guitar.
That's so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
It's just like, who thinks
with some wolves looking on.
Yeah. That's just a pack of wolves just behind him. Yeah.
It's like a fucking, what did a 12-year-old in 1990 wrote this advert, right?
Yeah. It is fucking hilarious.
Fucking cunt. I was swearing a lot today, sorry. Sorry, listeners.
And you keep going for the big guns as well.
Yeah, good. Come at me. I'm not a small blonde woman, Johnny. What are you going to do?
No. I meant this. The big swears rather than.
I was not big in England. That's a fine word.
Yeah,
it's a fine word.
I've got an international audience though. Good Anglo-Saxon word.
Yeah, but that's why they listen.
Offensive
because they're like, ooh.
Yeah. They're trying to use it sparingly. Right, he says. Yada, stealing kids.
Right.
All of his bloody and cruel tendencies apparently attracted the attention of a redcap. Robin Redcap, or Redcap Sly. Terrifying creature, appeared at the castle looking at an old man with long fangs. Get it? He had an irresistible offer for William.
Ooh.
In return for his support and free reign of the land around Hermitage Castle, Robin would give William complete protection from harm.
Right.
William agreed.
Okay. So I was hoping for something a bit more financial.
Well, we'll see how this pans out. I have a feeling this is going to come back and.
Oh, of course it is. It's a Rumpelstiltskins.
So no one would ever be able to hurt or injure William unless they bound him with a 3-stranded rope. This is the thing you've got to do when you're signing a pact with one of the fairy folk. This was like, but for this really obscure... No, let's go over that clause.
Yeah, no.
Fucking code. I'm going to get my legal team past it.
I'm not comfortable with that clause that you put
unless
in.
No woman born of man could kill you. What you mean if by cesarean section they can? Right, fuck that. No, we're not. No deal. But no woman born of man. Yeah. Seriously.
Only a man of the tongue of English.
Yeah. Oh. Only if the forest came towards the castle could you. What? So you mean literally the forest, or just if people picked up some branches and walked towards the castle?
Or if a tree grows.
Yeah,
which it does.
No deal. So this is he's not had his legal reps look over this properly.
This guy, I've
got no sympathy.
I've got no sympathy for him.
I liked him. He was a energetic little character, going out and torching all the village people before. Yeah, now I've got no time for him.
Gets what he deserves.
This is not the art of the deal, right?
It's a great deal, the best deal.
That's something you like about Trump. He wouldn't be conned by this. So Robin said no one would ever be able to hurt or injure William unless they bound him with a 3-stranded rope. Not just any rope, however. It had to be a 3-stranded rope that had to be made of sand. That's slightly more trick. So we'll see how this pans out. Anyway, I know it's good. So William's tenants were now completely at their wits' end.
Was it glass rope? Is it?
I mean, let's be honest. In this period.
Oh no, I've been tied up with broadband cables. Yeah. Fuck.
I mean, it's not like they're going to be able to kill him anyway. But anyway, so it seemed like he could never be stopped. He was invulnerable. Nothing could hurt him anymore. And he was carrying on with black magic. His ego and confidence had only grown, and he began to see himself as godlike.
Good. I like this guy.
Yeah. The end of his story has a few different versions, but this is my favourite. Not knowing what else to do, William's tenants went to someone to help with bringing down the Dark Wizard. This is sort of turning into a bit of a fantasy western now. I like it. And they went to none other than Thomas the Rhymer.
Thomas the Rhymer. Yeah, he was.
Thomas the Rhymer.
He's a member of Jurassic 5 now.
Yeah, you know Thomas the Rhymer, Chris. He once rode to Fairyland with the Queen of the Faemie herself.
Yeah, I know. He did a rap about it on their second album.
Certainly did. Rhymed up right sweet. So they went to him for help, and he agreed. He had to be clever, and Thomas managed to come up with a solution.
Oh, he's got that rhyming smart.
Three-stranded rope made of sand and then beaten to death with it at the end. Fucking hell, I didn't see that coming.
Oh, how did he do that?
Shyamalan. No. Right. No. So, he made a three-stranded belt made of lead for the tenants to take back with them. And this belt was hollow, so it could be filled with sand.
But I mean, does that count?
It doesn't feel like it should, does it? This is a game. You've got to be careful with these fairy contracts, man.
I mean, so you could just basically fill up like three like hoses full of sand and just
sand
with
sand in a sock.
Yeah,
it's effectively all he's done. It's like soap in a sock. And it's like,
3 football socks with sand in, tied into a plait, just beaten. Yeah, cue ball in the bottom.
So they brought the belt back to the homes and launched an attack on the castle. They managed to capture William and bound him using the belt. He was at their mercy, and Robin Redcap was nowhere to be seen.
Oh, I see.
The villagers boiled William alive in revenge for the crimes.
Nice.
And to get a bit of dinner as well, so that's nice.
Lovely, yeah.
After William's brutal death, Robin Redcap completely disappeared, but legends persisted that Robin had stashed an enormous treasure hoard during his time at Hermitage Castle, but he left it behind, hidden
From
it.
where?
No one was able to find it. Well, presumably he just comes packing.
What, with treasure?
Yeah, because we'll go on to the next one a little bit briefly, but there's there's
he's got treasure already
in the past. Well, he seems to have come along with treasure.
He's already got it. Like
basically, he's wandering around like this little malevolent little gnome fella, and he's with his treasure, and he wants to settle down. So, come live with you. You're quite evil.
Do you reckon
we'd be good flatmates?
Do you reckon he maybe got it so he could do the castle up? Yeah. Maybe make it carbon neutral.
He saw a real future there, Chris. But
yeah, sad, isn't it?
That tricksy wizard. Yeah,
he's going to put solar panels on the roof.
Yeah.
Lovely. It's going to get rid of all the grass and put down some of that AstroTurf because there's one thing he doesn't.
Looks just like grass. You wouldn't.
One thing he doesn't like is gardening.
No.
And do you know what? It does look like grass and it serves the same function, but it's low maintenance.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Might be sniffy better. People seeing him afterwards around the ruined castle think he was returning to try and find his treasure. So again, if you want to hear about that, you can listen to the Generally Spooky podcast.
Yes, I'd recommend that.
An episode titled The Bloodthirsty.
Have you listened to it, Neil? No, me neither. But I recommend it hardly.
No, recommend it highly as long as you don't expect to stick by that. Right, one last page.
God.
If it's worse than this, don't come crying to us. That's all I'll say.
No, and
but if you're interested in the subject matter, you'd like a different take on it, yeah, why not?
And if any of their beliefs don't match with ours, then again...
Oh, yeah, if they're, abhorrent for whatever reason.
Yeah, we don't know.
Or just much better people than us.
Yeah, I mean, if their beliefs are better than ours, again, we don't condone them.
If it's a trade up, go. Anyway, so and then final article: are the monsters in unwelcome leprechauns? Irish Redcaps explained. I'll go through this very briefly. This is interesting because it seems like a lot of the articles seem to talk about them being Scottish around the sort of Anglo Scottish border. But this is one where there's a horror movie that came out a couple of years ago. It looks like by a director called Joe Wright. So Unwelcome is a new folk horror that pits an English couple against Irish monsters. But are these creatures leprechauns? Director Joe Wright explains.
No, I don't like this. Joe Wright sounds like a very English name.
Yeah, well, I don't know. As long as he's not having a go at...
Well, he's talking about Irish monsters. I mean, there's subtext there, isn't there?
Or it could be played ironically. I don't know.
I mean, let's be honest. What he's talking about is the reunification of Ireland and his opposition to it.
I mean, it could be a metaphor for the Troubles, or it could just be that he found a house in Ireland where he could shoot cheaply, much like the Robert the Bruce movie is for some reason set in Wales.
Yeah, like the Robert the Doll movie. You mean
Robert the Doll? Yeah, sorry,
not Robert the Bruce. They're similar but different.
Yeah, they've got Oh yeah. Right, a decade ago, he did a brilliant 2012 feature called Grabbers. I think he might have written this himself. He's made another monster movie. I've never seen these. It might be decent B movies. There are a couple who escape their urban nightmare to the tranquility of rural Ireland, only to discover malevolent, murderous goblins living in the gnarled ancient wood. What are these goblins exactly? Would you call them leprechauns? The film itself has the answer as a director. They're not leprechauns exactly. While they reach the couple in question reach Ireland, they're warned by a family friend about monsters lurking beyond the wall at the end of their garden. The friend in question, Neve, so she's an Irish lady, so I don't think it's suggests that they do what tradition dictates and lead a blood offering out at night to keep them at bay. When the couple asks what the creatures are, Neve says, not leprechauns exactly. Some called them the Far Darrig or the Redcaps.
Okay.
So
then basically, like, he wanted to do a leprechaun movie. He looked up leprechaun movies, realised there was loads of leprechaun movies, but he'd already hired this Airbnb
and he was well out of his budget. Yeah, he'd hired an Airbnb in Ireland anyway. So
he's like, oh, what else can I do that's similar?
Yeah, we'll do Redcaps instead. Yes, I think they've just uprated it from Scotland to Ireland, actually.
Yeah, for tax purposes. Got to remember that the Irish tax system is very forgiving for international organisations at the moment, which is why so many of them have their European headquarters in Dublin, of course.
Absolutely. Well, we do the same with films, don't we? That's why so many things are filmed over here. The tax write-off and non-union staff.
All of it's really good, and that's why nothing works in the country.
So actually, notice we delved into Irish folklore and myths and legends, read a lot of fairy tales and those he read before when he was a kid. The thing that struck us with the Redcaps, they appear in Irish folklore and in other countries as well. And he just basically explains, the goblins who did their caps in the blood of their victims. That felt like a fun inversion of the leprechaun stereotype. We're talking about leprechaunish type characters, but really these goblins are quite nasty. Again, he's not seen the leprechaun movies clearly because
why are they quite nasty in a leprechaun movie?
They're kind of more comedic nonsense, but he kills people. So
well, that is comedic.
He doesn't dip his cap in their blood, but he does make bad puns after killing them.
Well, that's good.
He's kind of like James Bond in that respect. Thought about that before.
He's very much the Irish James Bond.
Yeah. Or Pierce Brosnan, as we like to call him. It's important in this film that Redcaps take pleasure in their work, and they absolutely do. Right, double down on the joy that murder brings the Redcaps while speaking to Empire, saying these aren't nice goblins, they're nasty goblins. They're malevolent,
goblins are
ostensibly. Goblins generally, you think they're going to be bad guys.
Goblins are always bad guys, aren't they?
Yeah, although these are more psychotic than most, apparently. Anyway, there you go. So, Unwelcome is been released in Ireland and UK and Ireland, January 27th, 2023. Yeah, I would imagine on a streaming channel near you somewhere, but you can't find it because
Google's broke for financial reasons.
So what's it called?
What's this film called?
Oh, just close the tab. I think it was. Oh, hang on a minute. I'll have it on my phone now.
Is it just called The Redcaps?
No, it was something like Unwanted.
Unwelcome.
Or could be Unwelcome, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Boxed $258,938 at the box office.
Sweetness. Oh, that's what it meant. I was going to say, I thought that was what you had to pay for some rare copy.
No.
How much did it make?
258,938,000. So
that's all right. They
nearly
made it for
$260,000. Really, they made it $2,000. Fuck me! What are we doing? What are we doing this? We could be banging out some shit.
200,000 theirs.
Mate, 200,000, that's better than minus 8,000.
Depends on how much they spent filming it.
Yeah, so
you can do film quite cheap these days.
Yeah, you can get a decent camera. Yeah, I mean, it's time more than anything.
Yeah.
But you can get a decent camera for a couple of grand now, I reckon. So if you're interested in investing, it is a tax write-off as well into into Urbane Legends film productions,
movie,
which I've just set up. We'll do movies, but we'll also do a TV version of this series, which will release on Amazon.
Yeah, it could be like those Universal horror movies they tried to do with like Tom Cruise and the Mummy and Russell Crowe in whatever it was, Werewolf Man or whatever. That worked out well, didn't it, that universe? So, yeah, just imagine that, but with the whole pantheon of urban legends.
Exactly, and none of the big ones, so no one will know what to expect.
Nobody has a clue what the fuck.
And we won't, and no one who's acted before will be in it.
No,
very much, and every actor on the opening sequence will have introducing before their name. So that's that, Neil. We're doing our scoring.
We may as well.
Okie dokie, spooky.
Nothing else to it. Yeah, they spook. Yeah, murdering people and dipping the cap in their blood is a little occasion. But they've got a little bit of a way with themselves. It's they're pretty nice. Yeah, they're pretty spooky. And then that's the thing is because you'd see like these little fellas in well, what are you going to do? It's like, well, it turns out human strength cannot stop me.
And I've got eagle's talons.
Yeah.
And I've got a staff and some lubricant.
Malevolent gnome is about to fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Use you as dye for his cap. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. I'm going to give it.
He's going to wear you like a red cap.
Yeah. Have a taste of that, you man. 7 for me, I think.
7. Yeah, so they're they've got a lot going on the kind of violent sort of side, I guess. It's difficult, isn't it? Because they are horrible. I think the thing is you couldn't reason with them because if the cap dries out for some reason, they die. I don't know the ins and outs.
Weirdly, if you're just like an evil landlord, then you're...
well, you can make a deal.
You can make friends with them. No, presumably because he was killing so many people.
They were like, plenty of blood
to be dipped in. So,
yeah. So, I think the fact that for them, it isn't an enjoyment thing, it's survival, maybe makes them even more spooky. Mm. So, I'm going to join you on 7 now. Nice. So, believability. So I don't know that I necessarily believe in them. The thing is, right, the borders around Scotland, that's kind of a place of a lot of myths and stuff. And you had like that family of cannibals who lived there and that kind of stuff.
Sawney Bean or something? Or
something like that. We might have a look at them at some point.
Yeah.
But there was some quite, in what was essentially sort of no man's land, I guess, between the two sort of countries. There was quite a lot of moody shit going on. So, although I don't know if the Goblin things are there, I think probably there were bandits and cannibals potentially hanging out in castles and stuff. So it's a good way to get people to stay away from them. So I think there's something there. So I'm going to give it a 5 now.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. Believability. No, lower for me. I mean, there's no real witnesses. There's a bit of folklore that's clearly made up by sort of fans of what the British want to trash this guy's reputation. It would be interesting to see actually if he actually truly was a killer or whatever. That was all again just something to sort of slag off his memory because he betrayed the boss. Yeah. Right. 2. Yeah, it's going to be a 3 for me. It's a nice bit of folklore, but it's not. Yeah, there's nothing to.
So narrative premise, Neil.
Narrative premise. Yeah, I think you could. I think there's that little touch of the dipping their cap in the blood. That's kind of. I mean, it's definitely it could be a classic B movie. I think as we could see this. Of that one.
They're very much kind of like samurais, aren't they? In that way, that if they take the cap off, then it has to taste blood, or it can't be put back on the heads. Something like that.
Is that like unsheathing the sword? It needs to take. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So I think there's a reasonable amount here. So they're not just. I like the sort of little dress code that they've got going on, the pike staff and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be defeated by human strength.
Yes,
there's the gory stuff with the cap. And also, but then they can, so far so demonic, but actually also they make deals with some humans. They can grant you
they'll happily make a deal.
Yeah, albeit the usual fairy folk deal where there's a really obvious, Well,
less obvious this one.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of see it coming away. But but anyway, so I think there's a good story to be told out of this. I wouldn't, I might, if I can find that horror movie, I might give it a go. So okay. I'm going to give it, which is not like the best, but it's not bad. So I'm going to give it a 6.
I think the thing is with these fairy folk deals is, would you say, why do we need to include this clause? Like,
that would always be the thing for me. It's like, I'll grant you immortal life, and the only way you can die is if...
Yeah, well, that's not... Yeah. No, well, you're not doing it.
A man called Trevor kills you. It's like, well, that's... Because I know what's going to happen. Tomorrow Trevor's coming round.
Yeah, and what's your name? Oh, it's Trevor, but that's by the by.
I don't see that's relevant.
But, it's like, well, we're both...
No man in a million could kill you.
Do you know what? We're both getting what we want out of this deal. Like, but I don't... But so we don't need
taking it seriously, yeah.
Don't need this clause because I kind of feel. Do you know what? It feels like you're trying to. It feels like entrapment is what it feels like. It feels like you know something's coming that I don't know. So, I'm questioning it. But I like them. I mean, like I've not kind of heard of them before. Well, I've heard of them before. I wrote the list, but I haven't heard of like their talons and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. They're all right. Yeah, I don't mind them. They're a nice yin to Leprechaun's yang. So I'll go with you and give it a 6 now.
Nice.
And Reach. So not massive, I wouldn't say.
They're all the rage.
All the rage.
North and south of the border, and made it all to Ireland now as well.
Yeah, massive. Spinning money. No, I don't think they're very big, and don't know that they're going to get very big. But I think they're very old, so it has got the reach through time. So I think I will give it a 4-0.
Yeah, again, it's they're just a specific part of the folklore, but they'll be around for a very long time. One suspects just because they're in the whole thing, and then you've got the specific tale around the one Scottish. Baron, so I'm going to give it a 5 because it's not one that anyone would have heard of anywhere else, but it's one you can sort of stumble across.
Okay, lovely. Well, that gives us an overall score of 43, right in the bell curve.
That's why it's there.
That's why science is working.
Dictating things that go there.
So if you wanna get in touch, it's herb.legends.podcast@gmail.com. I know you won't, but please do. And if we'll keep asking if you could just kind of give us a like or a rating, or even a comment. Imagine that we've been doing this nearly 3 years and we haven't had one. If you could do that, it would really make our day. That'd be really nice because we do know that people do listen. Maybe hate listen, but that's fine.
Constructive feedback.
Constructive feedback would be good. If there's any bits which we kind of, because there's a lot of stuff.
Got an annoying voice.
We've started doing it, we've stopped and all that kind of stuff. If there's bits you like and bits you don't like, then please let us know. Can't promise that we'll
almost certainly won't act upon any of that
implement anything which you suggest, but there is a chance.
It will briefly validate our existence, and then we'll whine about it straight afterwards. So that's
but I mean, like we're kind of at the stage now where any attention's good attention.
Yeah.
So even bad attention would be good.
That's fine. Just look at us.
You only hit us because you love us.
Exactly.
And we love you too. And we'll see you again.
We've been bad, haven't we?
Oh, very bad. I'll get the pike. See you next week. Goodbye.
I'll get the 3-stranded rope with sand. Sort out the men from the boys. Goodbye.
It's an urban legend. Oh, yeah. I have girls regret. I'd give them my best. White and white, please, John. Right, Steve, you toe rag. You owe me a mug.